everybody. Welcome to today's edition of Food is the Best Medicine, Soul, Body, and Mind. And this is where I show up every single Friday at this time, on or about this time, and I share with you something that is quick, simple, nutritious, and delicious. Sometimes it is practical food, like what we're going to do today with our very simple, high protein porridge that's perfect for this time of the year. But sometimes it's something that's food for our mind, something that makes us say, that we need to think about. And something sometimes it's food for the soul, right? And I typically say that it's always food for the soul because it's always something that is very nourishing to our heart and soul. So today, on this beautiful, beautiful fall day here in Maryland, we're going to talk about high protein porridge because porridge is perfect for this time of the year. It reminds me of being a child when you would wake up or you would come in from outside and your mother would have this nice pot of porridge for you, and it was warm and creamy and soothing and comforting to the soul, right? Good for the body, great for the soul. So today we're going to be talking about one particular one, and it's using something very simple, oats, right? So oats are great primarily because they have a compound, a phytochemical, a natural component in them that is very soothing for our nervous system. So there's actually herbal remedies that are made from oats, and they help calm you down, calm the stress response. So they're a perfect one for the fall because during the fall, we're often racing around. Summer is over. We're getting ready for the holidays. We're trying to get things accomplished before the end of the years, and we can be in high stress mode. How many of you have been in high stress mode this fall, especially this fall with everything going on? So for this particular one, we are using oats. I always use the gluten-free oats because oats by nature are gluten-free. However, they're often grown in the fields right next to some other glutinous grain like wheat, and they're often processed in the same plant on the same equipment, and they get contaminated. So if you do have a sensitivity to gluten, you don't have to be allergic to it to still get some kind of inflammatory response when you eat things with gluten in it. Then it's best to buy gluten-free oats. So I always look for the ones that say that they are gluten-free. So this particular recipe just has a few ingredients, and that's what I was looking for because you want things that you can create very quickly. Definitely less than 15 minutes in the morning, but if you can get it down to 5 minutes, then that's even better. And this in particular recipe is something that we can do in 5 minutes, right? So I'm going to show you a 15-minute version. I'm going to also show you a 5-minute version. And let me go ahead and put my oats in the pot here. So I'm using about a third cup of oats, and I have about 1 1/3 cups of hot water on the stove. And if you use quick oats, then you can make this dish in 5 minutes, the total dish in 5 minutes, because you really only need to cook it for about 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes at the most, and then your oats will be cooked. And that's because those are kind of pre-processed oats. So you get a good amount of fiber, not as much of a fiber benefit with the quick oats as when you use the non-quick rolled oats, or you use the steel cut oats, right? So it's a matter of the degree of pre-processing, but it's also a matter of the degree of how much fibrous benefit you get for the body, right? So the less processed, the more fibrous benefit. So steel cut oats are going to give you a higher fiber content and a higher fibrous benefit. And they will also slow your blood sugar down the least because they take longer for your digestive system to process before the carbohydrate transforms into glucose and goes into the bloodstream and affects the blood sugar. So in terms of quickness, you don't always get the health benefit, right? So today I'm using a regular rolled oat, not the steel cut. So it is kind of the second least processed type of oat. And so I will still get about 20 grams, about, no, 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 about 8 grams of fiber from my cup of the oats. Um, Whereas with the steel cut oats is going to give you a little bit more. The processed oats are going to give you a little bit less, probably more around 3 or 4 grams of fiber. So you can see you can get double. And since during the day we're striving for about 25 to 30 grams of fiber, if you start off your morning with that fibrous boost, it's going to keep you more satiated. It's going to keep the blood sugar, as I said, more balanced. It's going to help reduce inflammation because your food is going to process better in the digestive tract where the immune system is that triggers inflammation. So you get many, many benefits in addition to the fact that we're using a grain, the oats, that are calming, soothing to the nervous system. So lots of medicinal benefits from this particular simple porridge. So anyway, my porridge has been on the stove for about 1 minute. I'm going to let it cook just a little bit longer because I did not use the quick oats. I'm using the moderate oats. And I want to talk about the protein. So a lot of people veer away from oats because they are trying to veer away from the carbohydrates. So first thing is that our bodies need carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are not bad. The type of carbohydrate that you eat is what makes the difference. And so most of you who have been following me know that a complex carbohydrate and one that is rich in fiber is actually going to be beneficial for the body, not just in terms of reducing the inflammation and the blood sugar and enhancing digestion, but it's also going to give you more energy. And that's what we all need these days is more energy, right? So the slower the glucose is absorbed into the bloodstream, the more stable amount levels will be reflected in the bloodstream, and the more your body will process it into energy in a sustainable manner, right? So we've got energy, we got reduced inflammation, we got blood sugar balance, and we got better digestion, we have stress response. We have oats are also very good for our skin, right? It has the beta glucans, it's very good for our skin. And so you could take these oats and you could rub them on your skin. You could make a mask and do some exfoliation with it and then let it sit on there. I'm sure you've all heard that when you have itchy skin, to take an oatmeal bath, right? Anti-inflammatory. So it will be very good for the face. So many benefits. So now let's see how my oats are doing. They're actually doing pretty good there. And this recipe only has a few ingredients. It has the water, it has the oats, it has some cinnamon, it has some vanilla protein. So I wanted to talk about the vanilla protein. I'm using protein in the form of collagen peptides. So collagen peptides, if you do a serving of this, which is about like maybe a quarter cup or so, you're going to get about 18 grams of protein. So it's high protein, 20 something grams of the collagen. So collagen, we all have been hearing about collagen. We know it's good for our hair. We know it's good for skin. We know it's good for joints. We know it's good for nails. Um, so as we start to get up there in age, and yes, I'm getting up there in age, I'm 61, things like collagen are important to me. Now, I like to get it from the foods because what goes on the inside works the best. And if it's a whole food, then the way our body works with it, with all the synergistic effect of all the vitamins and the minerals and fiber and protein and carbohydrates, everything is working all together because that's how God designed this universe to work interconnectedly. That's why we do mind, body, soul. So when you get it from a food where there's collagen, you could use agar, and that makes it into, you can make great like desserts and things. I'm going to do that. I think the next time we will do a show. But you can also get it from meats and you can get it from bone broth. So there's many, many different ways that we can get collagen in food. But right now I'm using a processed form. This is one by Garden of Life. I recognize it as a good form of collagen. It's pretty clean. It doesn't have a lot of additives and other things in it, which is very good. And this one is like a little bit, it doesn't have much flavor in it too, so it's not going to change the flavor of your food. For this recipe, you can use a collagen, but you can also use a protein powder. And if you want a little flavor, make it a vanilla protein powder, and then you're going to add some flavor to it. So now my oatmeal is looking pretty good. And remember what I said, that if you are in a hurry, you can use the quick oats, and then this would be made in about 5 minutes. But I wanted to have a chance to talk to you more. So I'm adding a little bit of cinnamon to this. Very nice. And then I'm just going to take my oats and put them into my bowl so that you can actually see what we have here in this short amount of time. And I didn't I didn't mention to you, but I am improvising some today because we woke up this morning to our whole kitchen and basement being flooded because a pipe had broke in our dishwasher. And so it had only been going on maybe about 30, 40 minutes because I had woken up first. I went to the restroom. I didn't hear any sound. And then I did my yoga nidra, which I do every morning. I love. And then I got up and then I heard this sound and I came down to the kitchen and the whole floor was flooded. We had about 2 inches of water on the kitchen floor. And then we went down into the basement and there was water just pouring from the ceilings in our storage room, in the office down there. And we had about 3 inches of water on the floor down there. So yes, we have called the insurance company. Pay your insurance. It's very good to keep your insurance up. And we cleaned everything up, but now we got the stove kind of pulled out and the dishwasher pulled out, and so it kind of looks a mess. But the show must go on. We always improvise. So now we're going to add a little bit of the protein powder. So I was talking about the protein, and there's several ways you can add protein to a porridge to help buffer the carbohydrate effect of that porridge. And one way is with a protein powder or collagen powder. Another way is with egg whites. So while your oats are cooking, you can just stir in some egg whites. You don't taste it, you don't see it, but you have extra protein, right? Another way is with nuts and nut butter, like a great almond butter would be really good to like put in a tablespoon or so of the nut butter. It gives you flavor. And I'm adding in my collagen powder here. And then I'm just going to kind of stir it in, okay? So you want to add the collagen powder at the end, not in the beginning. And that will help avoid this from like clumping. You don't want clumps of collagen or protein powder in your oatmeal. But I have my oatmeal. I'm going to actually show you what this looks like up close. And you can see it looks like regular oatmeal, right? It's your porridge. It's all blended in nicely. And then what I love to do is add in my favorite toppings, which are the wild blueberries, not the regular blueberries, but the wild blueberries, because you get 2 to 3 times the anti-inflammatory, antioxidant benefit when you use these types of blueberries. So this is going to be my breakfast. I'm putting my blueberries in. I can add my milk to keep it anti-inflammatory, I recommend you use a dairy-free milk. I'm using the rice dream milk right now, but you could use coconut milk, almond milk, cashew milk, which is actually my favorite. It's nice and rich. I've tried macadamia milk. That one is nice and rich too. You pay a little bit more for it. And you can just add a little bit of your milk to it, and voila, you have a very, very quick breakfast. So this was a 15-minute breakfast. And if you use the quick oats, you make it into a 5-minute breakfast. So to get the recipe, hop on over to my private Facebook group, Real Food, Real Joy, Real Healing. That's Real Food, Real Joy, Real Healing. I'll post it up in just a second. But I have that recipe, plus many, 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 many other recipes that are all quick, simple, nutritious, and delicious. All right. So this is a way that you can go out and have your day and have the energy, have the vibrancy, have the resilience, have the sustainability, all of those great benefits of the day. So I look forward to talking to you next week, same time, same place. Food is the best medicine, soul, body, and mind. And hop on over to the private Facebook group. You're going to get some great recipes there. Plus, you can get information about my upcoming culinary retreat that I'm going to be doing next month over Veterans Weekend. So stay tuned for more. I will talk to you next week, same place, same time. Have a great day. See you later.